Well, hi, good morning, and thanks so much for joining me here in my shop as I just get going on this radio. But I brought this guy in for a reason here today, and the reason is this. I've been operating this radio on an external antenna, and it seems to be working great, even though it's an old beater full of old capacitors. It didn't even appear to be aligned properly, yet it seemed to work great. These radios, I have four similar radios like this. All of them seem to work very similarly. Not so great. So I'm wondering, why unrestored great? Why restored not so great? And my thinking is all around alignment and issues around alignment and the like. That's really when I'm sort of built my own university of alignment here, and I'm the only student in it. And I'm doing okay. I think I'll pass, but I'm not sure. So what I plan to do is operate this radio on its loop antenna, connect the external antenna to it. It has a terminal. Ooh, let's see that. I wonder how these things get cracked. There's a way. Has an external antenna. I'm just going to clip onto it. And this has no ground back. Okay. We'll see how that goes. I hope it's a fair comparison. And what I'm thinking I'm going to discover is that there's nothing special about this radio. In fact, I'm just feeding it with one heck of an antenna signal. Here's the antenna, right here. This actually connects to a piece of coax which runs back and forth through my house and eventually goes outside to one of three different antennas. This is hooked up to basically a long wire antenna. That's where it's hooked up right now. This would be onto the long wire. This is just from the shield of the cable. It's not really grounded out there, but it appears sometimes I need to connect this and sometimes I don't. That's the story. We'll turn on this radio, we'll make it operate here, and we'll have a listen. Now, it's pretty reasonable to ask the question, well, is this radio properly aligned? And at this point I would say probably is. May not be. I plan to do another run on this and all of its brothers yet too, so I'm not too hung up on the alignment of this radio. And I got to put some power on it. We're not going to get anywhere like this. So I've been thinking long and hard now about alignment, and I've come up with a couple of principles here that maybe I had been amiss on. One is I haven't understood that these old radios just may not align properly, period. It just may not matter how much. Let me back that up. By following the instructions, you may never get these radios aligned as well as they could be. At the very least, you may get them aligned in one spot on the dial where you've done the alignment. And the reason for me thinking this is, yeah, when a radio comes out, originally out of the factory, they're all identical. And time goes by, stuff happens, decades and decades and decades later, nothing is like it was when it came out of the factory. And so the things that would tune this radio properly inside the trimmers and that, which worked back then, won't get you there anymore. And this is what I'm exploring, because what I've observed after doing hundreds of radios is the odd one comes out super sharp, super capable of receiving, and you never know which one it's going to be. I think it might be this one right now, but I'm not sure of that. While others come out, I can only call it kind of mediocre, like this one. And so, is it me? Am I the mediocre alignment guy? Is it the radio? It's really not possible. Is it the method? I've been following the book method and it's not getting me there. So I've been able to explore a lot of questions about the alignment of these radios using my SDR radio. If you've been watching my videos, you've seen me use it quite a bit. It's problematic, but it reveals some things simultaneously that are very hard to get a grip on otherwise. And in particular, it's the resonant point of the front end tuning of the radio, antenna, RF stage, whatever might be there, and the local oscillator and the dial pointer. These are really tough things to get all working together. How come this radio is not making any sound? That's why. Okay, so how are we going to compare this? We're going to go up to a French station, which I use as the test case. And we're using the loop in here, so it's directional. Oop, can't tune with the volume. So this guy's not picking them up. So in order to get this radio, well, you know, I'm just going to hook up the outside antenna. We'll see what happens. Just the center lead, just the actual wire. It's right there. That's a terrible result. Okay, we're going to try another radio. Not happy with this one. I may have picked one that I really did not align very well. I have another radio here we can test much better. Or test with much better, and it's a radio way up there. Way up here. Way up here. Now the antenna for this radio, while it's warming up, is, let me just make sure I don't have to turn up too high. Yes. This is the antenna connection to the radio. This is the antenna. I will put them together here. Now let's get this radio making some sound. Can't make much. No antenna. Okay, put on the antenna. There we go. Now let's see what we can get out of this radio.
Watching, or at least all of Canada's watching. I mean, this has been a heavily criticized, scrutinized, and very heavily covered event in the past couple of weeks because it's affected the whole country. So I think everyone's looking at this with a magnifying glass, and I think the OPC are trying to maybe not be seen through this magnifying glass.
So what's happening here in Canada, every time I play these radios, the same sort of news stories come out. But what's happening here in Canada is a large oil sands development and related pipelines and things like this. Controversial, large projects out in the western part of Canada are being proposed, and the government's considering them, and there's different levels of government and stuff like that. Some of these involve pipelines going 1,000 miles across Canada, and some of them are going through indigenous territory, some of these pipelines. So the people who live in those areas, indigenous people living there, want the right to have some say over these pipelines, and push comes to shove. And the way it works in Canada is when at least the last 20 years or so, when the indigenous people get upset enough, they camp out on rail lines around Canada. It stops the rail traffic, which is critical to Canada. Canada is a big country, sparsely populated, so there's a lot of transportation that's critical in Canada. And the indigenous people will protest by literally parking camps right on the tracks, stopping commuter trains, freight trains, the whole thing. They kind of shut down that part of the Canadian economy while they're doing this. And this doesn't happen every week. This takes an extreme situation for indigenous people to do this. At the same time, Canada is trying to improve its relationship with indigenous nations that live here. And the whole thing is very, very, very complicated and very emotional and all this kind of stuff. So very difficult. What happened today was in one part of Canada, the police in that part of Canada moved in on the protesters and removed them. They're doing it right now, removing them from the tracks so the trains can run again. It's a very, very, very difficult situation here in Canada politically, socially. Maybe the word is socially. It's something I think most Canadians really want to see solved, but no one's quite sure what the solution looks like. So everybody's pressing forward, and it's a complicated situation here in Canada. So that's why every time you turn the radio on, you're going to hear a story about this kind of stuff right now. And if it's not that, in my province, it'll be a story about 25,000 teachers on strike. So let's listen here.
In a spider web of routes that seems to be halted. So I'm sure they're looking forward to having those routes up and running. I did do an economical impact to Ontario story last week, and speaking to some economists, they said, just to get the businesses back to where it was, it could take a month's time. So you got to imagine that these businesses...
Okay, let's check a few more stations here.
Some were talking about...
So this is a sports channel at 590. This is a fairly easy to receive station. A bit of interference with it. Let's go find that French station. That's English. There we are. This is the station I like to use as a check. Many radios have trouble receiving this in my shop. It strikes me that what we're hearing out of this radio right now pretty much identical to what was coming out of this old beater. So what we're going to switch our attention now to this radio. We're going to try to play that same station here, the same antenna on it, and we'll see how it compares. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have this radio up here playing, stop the video, set everything up, get the French station coming in here, and start the video. So you'll hear a switch right across, and then I can play it back too. I do watch my own videos now and then to detect things like that, or things that slip by me while I'm working in here. Okay, let's try that. So I'll turn this up a bit. So what you want to listen to is the signal to noise ratio. Get that in your head. It's not particularly good. Let me just check the tuning here. Okay, just realized that that's probably going to get me a copyright hit. A little bit of music there. Hopefully not. Okay. Uh-oh. So radio came on, played right on the money, played beautifully for about 3 seconds and went pop and stopped. Come on, radio, don't do this to me. But that little bit, let me get this off here. That little bit of playing sounded way better than that other radio. And so it just, hopefully this is going to pop back on again when I figure it out. But see, I had to connect both leads, and maybe this is making a big difference. I can't, when you listen to the radio up there, both leads are connected through this cable, same as this radio. What happened? Come on, man. Tube popped out. Huh. It was literally a pop, a very, not even a pop. Volume? Well, that can help. Where's the station that was coming out of it? course, I don't know where I've tuned this radio. Something there. Here we are. You can always tell the French station because they speak French. It's actually Radio Canada. Radio Canada. Now the fact is I fooled with the alignment on this radio after the last video. In fact, I did almost another video's worth of effort on this radio, just fooling around with the alignment. I moved the IF alignment from 430 to 455, and I was just about getting ready to try to fit the local oscillator to the front end. I was just getting ready to do that when I got interrupted with the work, and I never got back to it, and kind of lost track of where I was and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to repeat all that, or do that again. Yeah, I guess that would be repeating, wouldn't it? So radio's working here. Even the tone control works. It's really counterintuitive, isn't it? All those old capacitors, even this one. And they look terrible. And it works great. So what I was getting at, I just realized where I ended it. So the pointer's missing from this radio. The string is missing. I got a pointer from another radio. I was just getting ready to bear down and put the string on it because we got to have it. We got to have it to do the next part. When I got distracted, and it's a string, right? So I didn't come running in here. So let me stop this. I'm going to do the string. I'll do it off camera, just get it done. I'm looking for another pointer. This one is just, I'm going to have to cut this. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. Okay, but as for the experiment here, what did I figure out from this? Well, not knowing the actual operating condition of this radio, it's another radio I aligned years and years ago, following the instructions. I think it works well, but this is all about finding out if what I think is well working really is. That guy compared to this guy, he's a winner. What is going on exactly? Okay, put the string on, and then we're going to try to find out what's going on. Well, unfortunately I cannot find a stringing diagram, and this radio is complicated in its stringing. But I'm just going to have to figure it out by brute force here. I don't know how else to do it. So first thing to do is to look at all the pulleys that are in here, and I already know there's a trick being played in this radio. So let's look at them. There's a pulley here at the far end, so the string must come out and must return back somewhere. There's a pulley here, which is easy to see. Of course, there's the tuning shaft spool. Well, then there's the tuning wheel. And then there's this clever guy here. And when I say this to you, you'll see it right away. There's two pulleys here, not one. So it must be, and you can see the lineup here when you look at these. Lines up with this a little loose, but maybe it's supposed to be a little loose, so it'll just kind of auto correct its angle here. Up. Up. Over, around, and back. Down on the outside. Catching this one here, this funny angular one here. Through there. And then heading for this part of the wheel here. The question is, when does this come into play? So you can see the two end points here where the tabs have been bent out. And usually there's a slot cut, but I see there's a hole here. It's exactly opposite to these guys, so they must both come through this hole. Now occasionally one of these strings will go all the way around one way. Maybe it's all the way around the other way. Depends where this capacitor is set when you do it. Lots and lots and lots of challenges. So if we trace this whole thing then, make the assumption that what is hooked up to here, it's a terrible assumption. So normally when these two things come out a slot, they won't cross, they will come out separately. They don't really want the strings to cross. That can lead to trouble at different points. So the normal thing is they don't cross. So these would come down and then they would head out this way. So we follow this one down through the hole, come out this way. Now it could head for this. It depends where the hole ends up. The hole stops there, so you can see how you could have a string come out, come down, go around, and I start turning this all the way around to here. The hole is here now. So where would the string go from here? And there's a remote chance that there's two strings on this radio. It's kind of a remote chance. I think if there were, there'd be two more of these. It'd be one string from here to here, and then another string from here to the pointer. I doubt that very much. One string. So we have. Let's keep following it then. So this worked out, okay? The string comes out, comes down, goes around once or twice. This is a fairly large bobbin, so it probably goes twice around. Then from there, where? From there, occasionally the strings will go back around the wheel and not really be around the wheel. Just, if you know what I mean, they're not really friction attached to the wheel. They'll even slide the opposite way over part of the surface, but not much. If it comes up this way, where? Did I miss another wheel? I don't think so. Okay, so that didn't work. So I don't think that worked. Let's try the other way. Let's go the other way. So pretend it comes up. Come out, it would go this way. If it came off here, go this way. I have the same problem. The same problem anytime you come down here. How can you get from here up into this area without going across this wheel? Oh boy, this is the ultimate in puzzling. This is the ultimate in puzzling things out. So, you know, it's the same one. Okay, let's start. So we come back here. Come on, we go around. There's no pulley up in here. No. No. So let's say this really is not making sense to me at all. Of course. Well, you can see this is going to take a long time to puzzle this out. And, you know, I don't think it's fun watching another person do a puzzle. I think the only fun is doing it yourself. But I'm going to continue to puzzle out on this thing. And once I get a string, once I get an idea what I'm doing, I'll turn the video back on. Okay, nothing interesting has happened. Only a couple of minutes went by, but I thought, I may as well catch this on video, what I'm trying to do here. So what I'm thinking about now is the way the radio's tuning and the way the pointer is traveling has to be the same, obviously. So with the capacitor wide open, we're at the high end. And then as I turn this way, the pointer must move that way. If we bring a string up here, through here, oops, onto the back pulley, it will do that. That string will move that way. It comes back, gets in here, goes from here down to there, from there down to here. When did it ever get around here? So the name of the game must be that it's the you could maybe look at it this way. You could install the entire string and leave this out, and then to bring this into play, you would just grab the string and the wheel here, stretch it out, kind of loop it around. I mean, you can't do this practically, but just to get my head around how to do this. So really, the string that's going around here is going around here. I was thinking it comes off here and then it heads off to other parts somehow, but it doesn't. It just keeps going around. So what would that look like then? Oh my gosh. Starting here, and it has to head that way. It could be like that. So it is kind of, well, this wheel has to be gripped by the string from this wheel, even if it's all one string. You can't have this wheel just kind of, the string just coming down the sides here. It's got to go around. This is pretty wide too. So I think we're looking at once around anyway. I mean, there's no 1, 2, 3. It's 1.4 and 2.2, and that's really what happens here. I think the only way forward now is to get a long piece of string to test with, and that's what I'm going to do. Practice with a piece of string. I have decided to video this just in case this goes so well somehow that I get this together in one go. Here, fat chance on that happening. I wouldn't want to miss the glory. I need bragging rights about these things. Okay, so here we go. Across. Down. Back. Down. Behind this one, I guess. Okay. Now where are we going now? We're going down the front here. Down the front. Going around. You know what? This is it. And then we would go back in and hook and end here with a spring. Okay, let's see if we got it. I'm going to try to hold that. Pretend. Wait a minute, let's hold the string here too. Take that out. I'll be the pointer. Sure. Looks good here. What's happened here? I'm jammed up. Wow. Okay. Keep testing. So we'll get there. So there's a funny binding up here. What's a funny binding up? Yes, very humorous. What is stopping it now? My fingers are stopping. No? There we are. Yeah, I think I got it. That's perfect. Just tighten that baby up. We're done. Okay, now my classic mistake at this point is to cut the string 1 inch too short. I don't want to do that. Let's make sure it's on all of its pulleys here. Oh my gosh, it's all going to come off. Get some tension on it. Okay. Everybody's on. This is the end of the string. Going around, dropping through the hole right here, heading for that thing. Most of that will be spring. I should tie, this is where I make the mistake, I should tie the knot there, cut it here. I should mark it. Come down through the hole. This was my clever idea last time. It came out an inch wrong. So the loop should be tied right around in here. The string can be this long. Okay, let's cut the string here. Here we go. Add another little inch. I need a spring. I need a nice spring now for going in the back here. See if we can turn this around and bring the spring up. Bring up the spring spot. Okay, this has to go down through the tiny, tiny hole here. Which side of this string? I want it crossing over. It's fine there. To get the string crossing over incorrectly, you may not know it until you turn the dial all the way one way, and then all of a sudden, whoop. Okay, there we are. So all I got to do is just get the spring tied on right there. A spring, a spring. Okay, get my springs here. As I said before, these aren't the most appropriate sizes. These are all a little big. This might be good. So it's going to stretch out, depending upon how I tie the string. That's pretty good tension. I think that'll do. Okay, so if we were to put this spring on where it goes, something like that, and then we see the tie-on mark. The tie-on mark does not stretch the string, so I need to tie it much higher up. The spring. I need to tie it on up here. Yeah, I'm gonna make a knot up there. So I discovered with the other string, it's pretty hard to pull a knot through the little hole here. So you can knot it ahead of time and not get it through the hole. It's just another one of those things. Listen to my cat howling out there. So what I can do, I can release the string here on the risk of a mess developing. And pull it out. Oh, that's a good move. No, not so. I want to make it shorter by quite a bit from where the mark was. Okay, we'll try that. Ah, I didn't get it right. My little mark is right there. Okay. Ah, and then I tightened it. Done. So, I gotta get this undone now. Why did I tighten it? Overly optimistic. How am I ever going to pick this apart? Just a bit at a time. There we go. So another political tension point here in Canada is the authorizing of a large oil sands proposal out west. Oil sands are, or oil shale, or whatever it is. I'm going to think about this just a little bit here. I'm doing this. Really shortened it up now. That's too much. So it was a big proposal to build another one of these oil sands plants, if you like. It requires government approval. It's politically extremely hot. Environmental issues, employment issues, that kind of stuff. It's quite complicated. Let's try that. I don't know where I am anymore on this string. The government said it would make a decision this week, in just a few days, and no matter which way it decides, there are going to be angry Canadians. There's no way forward without having a upset constituency of some sort. And yesterday, the company that had made the proposal, the initial proposal, said it was withdrawing its proposal. The whole thing's gone. It's like a $10 billion investment or something like that. Interestingly enough, a lot of the politicians are saying, you see, this is what happens when you let climate change policy get in the way of economics. Oh, you know what? I can't get this on here because I've tied the knot too far up. It's just not going to get there. I won't need the spring. So I blew it. Not too far up. So the company that made the proposal yesterday announced, well, they're going to withdraw the proposal. And now the interesting question is, well, why? And why at the 11th hour? When they withdraw this proposal, they said they are going to take a $1 billion hit on their accounts over this. This is how serious this thing is, and they decided not to go ahead. Some politicians came out right away and said, see, it's a climate policy. It's making it impossible for these oil companies to move forward in our province. Can't have this industry, and it's all the fault of those who are pushing the climate change thing forward. Then right after the politicians made those public statements, the company itself came out and said, no, the reason we're pulling out is there is no climate policy, and our investors expect there to be proper climate policies in areas where we do business. So we can't do business without a climate policy. So this has caused the anti-climate change, tending to be right-wing politicians, to kind of, well, I haven't heard from them today yet. I'm not sure what they're going to say now. Because their argument is climate change is a disaster for the economy, and here's a big company and a big project saying the lack of effort, lack of policy is the problem. Canada has huge oil reserves, but they're not your usual. It's not so usual anymore. Bubble of oil under the ground. It's more like I don't know if I did this in any way useful. Shale oil is more like oil in a sponge. Let's see if I did this right. I don't think I did. Yeah, who needs a spring? Who needs a spring? Now this has got tension on it. Nothing going anywhere. Oh, this is just tight as can be. Nothing's going to turn this. In the pull, let's make sure they're all in the pulleys. Oh, this one missed. Okay, so this might be the problem. It turns into a brake. Here, let's try that. Oh boy. Well, at least we can find out if this is the right way to do it. Let me put the pointer on. Where'd the pointer go? Where'd my spare pointer go? Who needs a spring? But I need a pointer. Son of a gun. Don't you know? Here it is back here. Here it is back here. Let's put it on. Let's put on the pointer. See if that pointer even works. There's a small mark right there. You can improve what these marks are. Small mark right there. So in terms of being able to do the alignment, this will work. It's lining up. But I'm telling you, man, this is not easy to turn. This is taking a lot of force. So it could just be lubrication all through it, or it could be I've got this string so tight. Not really. Not really. I should have gone around twice here instead of once. It's got no grip, but it's fighting an awful lot of back tension. It won't even turn it like this. So let's lubricate everything. Let's give it the lubrication. Okay, I have to go get the lubrication. It's hidden. Okay, I'm going to try to apply oil with this bottle with a teeny tiny thin little point pipe there. And just get a little bit of oil on every normally oil it right in here, but I'm going to just the tiniest amount here. Now these ball bearings, no oil coming out of this. Tiniest amount. Try to get the front of the shaft here. I should have just hit it with WD-40. This just not be enough. That's made no difference. Now, never do I oil these guys. I'm not sure if this is really a particularly positive thing to do. The string. The tiny amount of oil coming. Yeah. Don't get it on the string. Right onto the string. Blah. I can't imagine that's made any difference. Oh, it's a little easier. Yeah. Yeah, so this is turning. Sort of. Was. Okay, oil this. This is often the stickiest thing of all in these radios. There's a large sleeve here that it can get bound up in. I need to put more oil in, and that little guy's just not doing the trick. This sure will. Okay, spray from the back side here. And then, oh, I can feel that loosen right up. I don't think we need any more. That. Still not turning the wheel though. This is turning way easier. Way easier. Way easier. Come on, you can do it. If I put more tension on the string here. Pulling on it up here to put tension on it. Wow. It's a long ways from. It's a long ways. Is there something rubbing somewhere? It does sound like it, doesn't it? What's this? Never oil these. Never oil these. If you want to do something, take some wax and just run some wax on this top edge, but don't put oil up there. Maybe if I hit this ball bearings just a little harder here. Well, it's much freer. So are these pulleys turning? These two are. Not this one. Not this one. This one is, so two pulleys not turning. Why won't you turn? This one's turning. This one's not turning. Oil I just put on it. Now there isn't a lot of tension pushing on this wheel from the string, because the string really isn't bent around it very far. It's just bent a little bit. So maybe that one's just not gonna turn, but it's not gonna matter either, because it has no braking power like that. This is turning much looser again. Better all the time. Still have to face up to the fact there's no spring on it. Well, I can do that right now. I can see the loop and I can see the hook, and that's going to really put extra tension on this thing. That's crazy. That's too much. It's too much for this spring. We need a longer one. If you pull the spring too far, of course, the spring will be sprung. You have pulled it past its stress limit and into the strain area. You know what I'm talking about? You can look up the difference between stress and strain in metals. Well, that'll get long enough. That's nice. That's a very appropriate one. Probably stole that from another radio. Now we'll hook it on, and then hook it on. Okay, that's good. That's the right order. Hook it on, then hook it on. We'll try anyway. It's quite a long pull. Come on, there we are. Hook it on, and now hook it on. Pulled the knot off just a touch here, so it's added tension. Oh my gosh, did I actually do this? Is this actually done? Da da da. It's very, very, very close. these things often grip in one direction and then they slack in the other. And so it's the other direction they tend to lose their grip. That's what's happened here. Should have gone around it twice. Not enough string to do that now. Oh my, it's the string jackpot. Here it is. So good, so bad, so close, so far, all together now. So what I can do is I can leave this like this for now. I'm in a position where I can fool with the alignment properly. Worry about dealing with the string later when my string energy returns. I've exhausted my string energy here. But this allows us to move forward on experimenting with the alignment on this radio. Maybe it works better like this. Laying down. Nope, doesn't want to make it. And what happens right at this point? Oh, there is something there. Right there. There's some kind of a stopper happening. Possibly be. What could be happening partway through? Still feels kind of like something really does need more oil. Could it be that? Pulley? No. Be the summation of everything? It just feels like something is really, like, I can feel it. It's like metal on metal dragging here. Can't be this. Can't be this. Okay, let's take the pointer off for now. Right there. Right there. What happens right in that area? Right there. Like it's just boom. One of these plates dragging? No, we would have heard that by now. And that would be unusual. Very, very tight in through here. How can it be this? Can't be that. Turn each one of these by hand. This one's pretty tight. This one has a like 180 degree pull. I don't know how to explain it. It has a hard pull on it. Let's put it that way. In fact, that's the one pulley that's getting the most pulliness, followed by this one. So let's make sure this one is lubricated. Still has that sound, doesn't it? Same spot pretty well. So in the center here it has spring-loaded contacts to the shaft to ensure that the shaft and the plates are grounded to the frame of the capacitor. And these are dragging right in here. They're springing out and pushing. So I'm going to put some lubrication in there. I'm going to use WD-40. This might be where an awful lot of back pressure is. Whoosh. Let's try that. Doesn't feel any different. It's really a strong. When you get the string on, of course, everything is pulled. So shafts are being pulled. Everything's being pulled. So they're all developing friction. This didn't loosen up at all. That. Usually we get up there. We don't get up there anymore. Is it all about twice around here? Is that the whole deal? Also, a string width. This is thin string. I wish it was a little thicker. This is special dial string intended to has no stretch in it. This feels like it's getting worse. I'm going to blast some more into the ball bearings here. In fact, I'm gonna hit this outside part here. Okay, that put lots of oil into it. That feels a little different. I don't think it feels different enough. It's gotten worse. I think the draggy noises from that. That's spinning nicely. This one's still not spinning. Let's make this one spin if we can. How can I do that? I don't want to be spraying WD-40 way in there. Spinning? No, still not spinning. But that can't be responsible for the kind of drag I'm feeling. Jeepers creepers. Where does that much drag come from in one of these? These usually spin pretty free once you What am I missing? Okay, let's give it a WD-40 blast on this little tiny bearing back here, which I just can't imagine would produce that kind of back pressure. The leverage against there is huge. Look at the size of the wheel I'm turning here. So what can I feel? You know, I can't really feel a drag, a tiny drag like that with a big wheel like this. I'm feeling a lot of drag. Where is it coming from? guy soaked for a while, maybe. The oil not getting up into a shaft. That would be true for this guy, but I just don't think he's the cause. How can it be the cause? He can't, except for the slipping there, it can't be the cause of the back pressure. I'm turning it. If anything, it's gotten stiffer. Like it's really stiff now. How can that be the case? The more oil I put on it and the more I work it, the stiffer it gets. So never be able to drive it with one loop here. That's where I think we're at. And there it is working. Fine, it's just repeated loosening. I think it's just working this thing until it screams uncle. Just doesn't seem to get any looser. Doing that. That's good. Like that clunk. Okay. Yeah, it's just come on. Right in this area here. It's right in here. Never done this before to a capacitor. Man, that's too tight. I have the bearings too tight. Yeah, what if the bearing is too tight? What if? Okay, so let's see. I very seldom fool with these. That's why it didn't come to mind. Let's see if I can loosen it. This is a little bit of a dangerous game here. I think that's locked in there like crazy, of course. Yeah, I have to undo the locking nut and break this coil doing it. Try my parallel tool if I can get it in there without damaging something. Yeah, this is just it's a monster. It's a monster. Can't put a nut driver on there. You need to tighten that up a lot if I do loosen it. Put a bigger screwdriver in and try to back that screw a touch. The risk of I don't know, what's the risk? Loosening off breaking that coil. This is the risk. Okay, get out of there. Doesn't feel much different. Success. Okay, I'm going to declare this string success at this point. Did I loosen this thing up so it's all wobbly in here now? No. Solid as could be. So probably this is tight enough. It's probably pushing, like using this as a spring mount, you know. So I released it a bit. This came back a little tiny bit. It still maintains all of its rigidity in here, but some of the tension, some of the pressure taken off. What if I go a little further? Let's go a little further. Go one more snap, because I think I'm still right on the edge of slipping on that string. Okay, let's see if we can go one more little bit here. Don't break the coil. Okay, it's turning. Well, I think that made quite a difference. So that's probably what it was. It's just too much pressure in there. Why it would be different today than, you know, when it came out of the factory, I don't know. I guess maybe, you know, fresher metal, all that, maybe cleaner or something. There we go. Anyway, done. Whew. That wasn't quite as bad as I expected. Glad I put that on video. Another string done. Great. So now I'm going to get back to the alignment checking process and all that kind of stuff. We'll do that on the next video. Hey, thanks a lot for watching the string thing here. Great.